my command and reclaim these relics of hatred.
A head start. You're getting soft in your old age.
Don't you have a tall building to go leap?
Oh dear.
You are the bossiest damsel in distress I have ever rescued. Also the ugliest, heaviest, and the first.
Solid work, team. See you on the ground.
In the realm of ancient legends, Hercules emerges as the ultimate superhero. Born millennia ago to Zeus and Alcmena, his feats defy imagination. At just 1 year old, he strangled serpents sent by Hera, revealing his immense strength. He joined the Agronauts on their quest for the Golden Fleece, but never abandoned the search for his abducted friend Hellas, even at the cost of parting ways with his crew. Hercules possesses demigod-like powers, which includes immunity to aging and disease, tirelessness, superhuman strength and agility, and near invulnerability. Mortal wounds can't claim him unless they're cataclysmic, to say the least. Armed with a golden mace and other legendary weapons, he's a master of combat with the legendary reputation for romance and revelry. And with muscles like that, how could you not be a total womanizer? At number 9 is the Parliament of Trees. While the Swamp Thing is a newcomer in the vast DC universe, I mean, relatively speaking, he derives his powers from an ancient primordial force known as the Green, or the Parliament of Trees. This force intricately weaves its tendrils through every blade of grass, every towering tree, and all plant life on our planet. But the true marvel lies in the Parliament of Trees, which is a council of former plant elementals whose existence predates humanity by hundreds of millions of years. These beings have witnessed the rise and fall of countless civilizations, outlasting even the mighty dinosaurs. Today they join forces with the Swamp Thing, an earthly avatar, to safeguard the delicate balance of our environment. In this alliance, they prove themselves as ancient superheroes, guardians of a world far older than mankind itself. If you're enjoying this video so far, you could support this channel by pressing like, subscribing to Top 10 Nerd, and ringing that notification bell. I would really appreciate if you did do all those things. At number 8 is Beowulf. Beowulf is a legendary Geatish king who stands as an enduring ancient superhero. His reign spanned 50 years before a dragon, harboring secrets of the Holy Grail, brought his end. James Allison speculated that his heroic tales, including the dragon battle, were imprinted in our collective memory from a past life encounter with a mysterious worm. And by the way, if you're wondering, James Allison is some dude whose power is to see his past incarnations. Anyways, these stories were later transformed into an epic poem, albeit with artistic embellishments, solidifying Beowulf's place among legendary heroes. But according to Marvel Comics, Beowulf actually survived his duel against the dragon and somehow managed to live into the modern age when Beowulf resurfaced as an immortal warrior, engaging in a friendly rivalry with Theseus. He even joined a coalition of warriors led by Hercules to confront new gods seeking to overthrow the old pantheon. Beowulf's timeless saga reminds us that some heroes remain eternally captivating. At number 7 is Naboo the Wise, recommended by Rodney Lindsay 849. Thank you very much for commenting this suggestion. Naboo the Wise is an ancient cosmic entity which arrived on Earth eons ago, aligning with the Lords of Order to combat universal chaos. His essence now resides in the Helmet of Fate, empowering those who take on the mantle of Dr. Fate. Which means that Dr. Fate's origins stretch over 10 billion years, rooted in the eternal struggle between the Lords of Order and Chaos. On the world of Celia, they were the first sentient beings, incarnations of magic. At around 3,500 years BCE, one lord, Naboo, descended to Earth advising Egyptian pharaohs. Naboo's powers forged potent artifacts like the Scarab of Khafre, hidden for millennia. His greatest creation, the Amulet of Anubis, became a sanctuary for the Lords of Order. During the Ramses' reign, Naboo served as a royal advisor and encountered the Spectre. He also harnessed nth metal from a crashed starship to create the Claw of Horus. Weakened, he entered into a millennia-long trance, awaiting his return to battle. At number 6 is E-Man, who was suggested by Paul Cooper 3611. Thank you very much. E-Man is a peculiar hero born from the cosmic crucible who exemplifies the enduring appealing allure of unconventional superheroes. Created during a bygone era of comics, he pulsates with a distinct charm. You see, E-Man is born out of pure energy, and as E-Man traversed galaxies, absorbing wisdom from the cosmos, eventually he landed on Earth, where he embraced the guise of Alex Tron, with his insignia being a nod to Einstein's famed equation. In a twist of fate, E-Man met Nova Kane, a dancer and scholar, who'd soon join him as a radiant partner. Together they faced cosmic threats with powers that defied physics. Energy blast, shapeshifting, guys, the imagination was unbound here. Yet Nova's powers are ebbed and flowed, a testament to their ever-changing narrative. Their adventures weren't complete without Teddy Q, a koala with surprising intellect. Now, although this comic series was short-lived, E-Man has been touted as one of the funniest superheroes of all time. Now, am I the only one who wants a reboot, but this time with an E-girl at the helm? Just me? At number 5 is Mama Ragan, who was also recommended by Rodney Lindsay 849. Thanks again. In the realm of ancient superheroes, the Wizard, once a thunder god, stands as an unyielding figure. He joined the mystical circle of eternity, and as the Wizard, he punished Earth's transgressors. After Black Adam's devastation, he sought a successor, ultimately choosing Billy Batson. Despite Billy's obviously flawed nature, the Wizard saw potential and passed on his powers, creating Shazam, a force of super strength and flight. The Wizard's tale illustrates that even in the most ancient of times, new heroes can emerge from unexpected sources. At number 4 are the Eternals. The Eternals were forged by the enigmatic Celestials a million years ago, and they stand as ancient superheroes beyond the grasp of mortality. These extraordinary beings, often lurking in the shadows of humanity, exist to safeguard our very species. With powers beyond comprehension, their mysterious existence is marked by reincarnation, emerging anew after each demise. Following grueling civil wars, the Eternals chose a path of harmony and self-improvement, exemplified by their ability to converge into the formidable Unimind. This collective consciousness showcased their immense potential when united. Spanning epochs, they constructed magnificent cities, including Olympia, their current haven. A peculiar connection with the Olympian gods once saw them as Earth's divine representatives, forging an extraordinary alliance. Yet turmoil always plagued them, eventually leading to madness and self-destruction. Now resurrected and slowly finding their way back to tranquility, these ancient superheroes persevere to this day. At number 3 is Martian Manhunter. The Martian Manhunter, also known as John Johns, is one of the last living members of the Martian race, and one of the oldest characters in DC Comics. His age is estimated to be north of 225 million years, an unimaginable span considering human lifespans. John Johns only made it to Earth recently thanks to a failed experiment, but he had been living in isolation on Mars for untold eons. A calamity about a million years ago wiped out nearly their entire civilization, leaving him as a solitary sentinel of his kind. His shape-shifting abilities, telepathy, and superhuman strength make him a formidable force, and his longevity adds to his aura of invincibility. At number 2 is Red Sonja. Originating as a supporting character in Conan Barbarian series, Red Sonja swiftly rose to prominence on account of her unwavering resolve and unmatched swordsmanship. With a tragic past as her backdrop, she swore vengeance and embarked on a relentless quest for justice. Marvel Comics chronicled her Avengers until 1986, followed by Dynamite Entertainment's ongoing run. Red Sonja's story underwent transformations, notably in a 2013 reboot, emphasizing empowerment and skill development. Nevertheless, her iconic red hair and distinctive scale mail armor endure as her trademarks, showcasing her formidable presence. Red Sonja's indomitable spirit, exceptional sword skills, and enduring legacy solidify her position among ancient superheroes who are truly unstoppable, etching her name into the annals of legend. And at number 1 is Wonder Woman. Now, Wonder Woman's age is indeed a perplexing matter, much like the enigmatic depths of the multiverse itself. Within the vast tapestry of DC Comics, Diana's age appears to be in constant flux, as if she's a paradoxical embodiment of both youth and antiquity. Her lineage traces back to the mythical realm of Greek gods, suggesting a timeless existence. Yet some narratives attempt to reconcile her age with historical events, placing her birth amidst the ancient Amazonians in 12,000 BC. Now, the cinematic adaptation further complicates matters, proposing a staggering age of 5,000 years. In this kaleidoscope of diverging timelines, Wonder Woman becomes a symbol of agelessness. At number 10 is Scarlet Witch, who's at number 10 not because she's less unstoppable than any of the rest of the heroes on this list, but because it's so blatantly obvious. A natural conduit of dark magic with the power to bend reality to her will. That's Scarlet Witch in a nutshell. She can rearrange the fabric of existence itself, crafting and shaping the world around her like a master sculptor. And if you're thinking that sounds like a recipe for some serious chaos, well, you're not wrong. With her chaos magic, Wanda can do things that can make mere mortals like us question the very nature of reality. She's brought the Avengers, Earth's mightiest heroes, down to their knees. She's conjured entire beings into existence, her children, and yes, she's even wiped out a few Avengers entirely. Talking about cleaning up the House of M. The nerds will get it. But it doesn't stop there. This chaos magic isn't just something that she picked up in a weekend workshop. No, she was practically born for it. From day one, Wanda had this uncanny knack for magic. Then a little boost from Chthon, the old god of chaos, took her powers to a whole new level. And just when you thought that wasn't enough, the experiments at Wundagore Mountain cranked up her magical prowess even further. Think of it like a magical power-up montage. But it's not just about raw power, it's also about the connections she can tap into. Scarlet Witch can channel energy from dimensions and entities that are beyond our understanding. Chthon, Kitterak, Morgan, I got those wrong, probably. These aren't just your friendly neighborhood spirits. And get this, she's even considered the nexus of being for the entire universe. That's like being the fulcrum that balances the cosmic seesaw. Now, sure, Marvel's universe is no stranger to magic users, with Sorcerer Supreme and mystical maestros galore, but what sets Scarlet Witch apart is the scope of her chaos magic. She's a reality warping dynamo, a serious force to be reckoned with, and a one-woman show of astonishing feats. If you're enjoying the video so far, you can support the channel by pressing like, subscribing to Top 10 Nerd, and ringing that notification bell. It would help out a bunch. At number 9 is Sentry, who's another obvious pick but isn't as well known as some of the other big players on this leaderboard. A hero with the power of a million exploding suns, a force that transcends the bounds of mere mortals. Robert Reynolds, the Sentry, stands as a unique marvel, and in my humble opinion, even outshines the famed Superman. You see, the Golden Sentry serum doesn't just bestow upon him the universe's zenith of strength. No, it granted him a constellation of abilities that read like the ultimate wish list. The Sentry surfs through the cosmos faster than light, an interstellar traveler with a teleportation knack that'd make the Nightcrawler blush. But that's not all, folks. Hold your applause, because his molecule manipulation prowess once toppled the mighty Molecule Man. Photokinesis, his dazzling control over light, isn't just about setting up stellar selfies. He can blaze brighter than the sun, dematerialize at will, and throw incandescent bolts that'll make Iron Man think twice. His psionic might lets him knit Psyche together, tinker with memories, and just casually halt Mjolnir mid-air, no worthiness required. But there's more to that power buffet. Biokinesis, the art of reshaping biology itself. The Sentry has resuscitated himself from the brinks, stitched others' wounds with thought, and even, brace yourself, brought people back from the great beyond. At number 8 is Captain Marvel. Let's talk about an Avenger who's like a cosmic Energizer bunny on steroids. And I'm not just talking about the old red, white, and blue color scheme. Carol Danvers, known as Captain Marvel, or Carol if you're feeling friendly, is a force to be reckoned with. Picture this, she's minding her business at NASA, probably wearing some seriously cool lab goggles, when fate's like, hey, wanna be a walking energy power station? And the result is an instant energy-fueled superhero package. Let's run down the list of powers, shall we? Super strength, check. I'm talking lifting an entire celestial, not your typical weightlifting session, mind you. Super stamina, like she could do a 24-hour dance marathon without breaking a sweat. And speaking of sweat, her superhuman durability makes planet-destroying explosions just a minor inconvenience. But wait, there's more. Superhuman agility, reflexes that are so fast, you'd think that she was playing a game of cosmic dodgeball. And let's not forget the healing factor that makes her practically Wolverine on steroids. Sorry, Logan. Carol's got you beat. But her crowning achievement is self-propelled flight at 3 times the speed of sound, even in the vacuum of space. I mean, I could barely keep up with my own thoughts, and she's zipping around the cosmos like she's late for a Cree tea party. And there's also a little thing called precognition. But yeah, she's also basically a cosmic fortune teller, but with a twist. She can randomly anticipate her opponent's moves, like she's playing a game of chess and reading their minds at the same time. So whether or not you're in the I Heart Carol Danvers fan club or not, you gotta hand it to her. She's the kind of superhero who'd make you wonder if the universe had an energy drink before creating her. her. At number 7 is Luke Cage, a man who transformed from a life of crime into the embodiment of invulnerability and strength. Luke's journey is one that showcases the epitome of transformation from criminal to protector, and even the mayor of the Big Apple. He's like a modern day Hercules, but without the whole mythology thing. The secret sauce here is the bursting process, a super soldier experiment that's like the ultimate makeover, but for your cellular regeneration rate. This process gifted Luke with an ungodly amount of strength, akin to lifting 50 tons. This strength isn't just for show. Thunderclaps? Check. Leaping long distances? Check. Pulling an airplane's brakes like it's a kid's toy? Absolutely check. But the real kicker is his nigh invulnerability, having skin, muscles, and bone tissue tougher than titanium steel. He can also take hits from heavy hitters, surviving smacks from folks that make him look like an underdog. And let's not forget his favorite pastime, surviving falls from skyscrapers like it's just another walk in the park. At number 6 is Black Panther. First of all, let's talk about that suit. Made from vibranium, the strongest metal in the Marvel universe. It also absorbs kinetic energy, making it practically indestructible. But it's not just the suit that makes T'Challa unstoppable. He's got the agility of a panther, the strength of a vibranium enhanced human, and combat skills that could give even the most skilled martial artists a run for their money. And don't forget about the intellect. The guy's a genius, ruling over Wakanda, a technological wonderland hidden in plain sight. Vibranium powered tech, healing herbs, you name it, Black Panther's got it all. But it's more than just the gadgets, intellect, and cool moves. T'Challa's got heart, a dedication to his people, and a commitment to justice. He's not just a superhero, he's a king, a symbol, and a reminder that anyone can be a hero no matter the circumstance. At number 5 is Iron Man. Now when it comes to the Avengers, we're talking about a roster filled with some seriously impressive individuals, but among them, there's one iconic figure who stands out, Tony Stark, aka Iron Man. So what makes Iron Man so special? Well, for starters, it's that suit of his. The Mark 20 million, or whatever snazzy number he's up to by now, is a true marvel of engineering. We're talking about a suit that's equipped with all sorts of advanced tech, from repulsor beams that can blast through just about anything, to an array of specialized gadgets that could give James Bond a run for his money. And let's not forget about his nanotech, allowing the suit to form around him at a moment's notice. But it's not just about the suit, it's also about the man inside it, Tony Stark, a brilliant inventor, billionaire, and philanthropist. Now what sets Tony apart isn't just his genius intellect or his snarky one-liners, it's his indomitable spirit. The guy's faced some serious challenges both in and out of the suit, from dealing with his own personal demons to going toe-to-toe with cosmic threats. He's shown time and time again that he's not one to back down. At number 4 is Thor. When the talk shifts to Avengers level threats, one question naturally arises. Can Thor single-handedly vanquish any challenge that befalls Earth? Well, let's find out. Marvel's tapestry of storylines weaves together captivating narratives, and sometimes even Thor needs a breather from Midgard's constant mayhem. Take the Civil War saga for instance. While the epic clash between heroes raged on Earth, Thor was knee-deep in his own Asgardian apocalypse, Ragnarok, making his conspicuous absence a necessity to let the drama unfold. Thor's lineage also reads like a divine who's who, with Odin and Gaia as his progenitors. And let's not forget the boost his dear mother Gaia gave him, elevating his Asgardian powers into uncharted territories. We're talking about the god of strength and thunder here, being capable of locking horns or hammers with cosmic juggernauts. The roster of opponents who felt the force of Mjolnir's might is as extensive as it is impressive. Midgard Serpent, the Hulk, the Silver Surfer, Gladiator, and even the legendary Hercules have all danced the battle and waltzed with Thor. His endurance seems bottomless, a wellspring of stamina that keeps him going even when the odds stay high and nigh. But even stripped of Mjolnir, when he's just Thor Odin's son, the guy's like a one-man storm. Recent chapters in his comic chronicle have seen him ascend further, Rune King Thor, All-Father Thor, and even donning the mantle of Cosmic Herald for Galactus. It's almost as if Thor keeps snacking power-ups from the cosmic clearance rack. At number 3 is Captain America. Let's talk about a hero who isn't necessarily firing energy beams from their fingertips or manipulating reality itself. It's none other than Captain America. But before we start sizing up his biceps against the lights of cosmic gods and reality-bending mutants, hear me out. Sure, when you think of the Avengers, you might picture Thor summoning thunderstorms or Iron Man donning his high-tech suits, but let's not underestimate the man who wields the vibranium shield with finesse and determination. Captain America, aka Steve Rogers, isn't on top of the power charts, but it's not about the flashy superpowers that make him shine. It's about his unyielding willpower. You see, Steve is the kind of guy who doesn't know the meaning of backing down. He's like the poacher child for unwavering resolve, the guy who will take on cosmic threats armed with nothing more than his conviction. See, it's not about the size of the hammer, but the strength behind the swing. And Steve's swing is fueled by his deep belief in what he fights for. At number 2 is Spider-Man. Just like Captain America, Spider-Man wields a power that transcends comic book pages. It's like the literal god tier of popularity. I mean, seriously, Spider-Man is practically the poster child of Marvel Comics. Now sure, he's been knocked down a few times, but the likelihood of him being permanently knocked down and out, about as low as finding someone who doesn't enjoy pizza. At number 1 is the Hulk. It's almost a requirement that the Hulk makes an appearance on this list. The gamma-powered green Goliath has been a force to be reckoned with ever since his debut. Known for his strength, not just your average weightlifting prowess, this guy's strength is set in stone, tied to his anger, which is a bit concerning when you think about it. Hulk's power grows alongside his fury, and it's like he's got an anger management issue with cosmic consequences. He's gone from smashing puny humans to planets, galaxies, and even giving the multiverse a good old shake with his punches.
And at 10, Superman. The catalyst of the Batman vs Superman story, Superman's power is hardly properly showcased, but this perfect story that shows it and its danger is Injustice. Okay, in the world of Injustice, Superman is driven to extremes by the death of Lois Lane at the hands of the Joker, which is a whole thing. Superman was convinced that he was fighting Doomsday, even though Doomsday was Lois, so yeah, I'm sure you see where that leads, which leads him to believe that he has to take a more aggressive approach to maintaining law and order in the world. As a result of this, Superman becomes a ruthless dictator, using his immense powers to control and subjugate the entire world and killing anyone who opposes him. He's willing to use violence and force to achieve his goals, and quickly becomes a symbol of fear and oppression rather than hope and justice. One of the most interesting aspects of the Injustice version is like the way that Superman's portrayed as a tragic figure, because like while his actions may be extreme and villainous, he's motivated by a sense of loss and doesn't want it to happen to anyone else. But this doesn't justify it, and it just shows you how strong he actually is if he wanted to be evil. It also makes him butt heads with the original version of Superman that they have to bring over from his Earth to help them beat their version. So yeah, the only way that this Superman could be stopped is with another Superman. And at 9, The Flash. Okay, literally though, this is a feeling I've seen every Flash fan express at one point or another in their fandom live. That this dude is so fast, nothing should be able to stop him, and honestly, that's a valid argument. I mean, not only is he super fast, but he also is super fast because of the Speed Force, which is a separate, basically godlike entity that chose him to give speed to. This guy's been able to run on water, run up air like it's a damn staircase, beat instantaneous teleportation, and sacrifice himself to save the multiverse and still come back from that. All because of his connection to the Speed Force. He can travel through time, change the entirety of reality like he did with Flashpoint, and honestly, probably destroy the world if left unchecked. So yeah, the fact that some of these dudes have been shot in the head, like Reverse Flash during Flashpoint, or in the comic version he's just stabbed by Batman, is definitely just because of the plot. Otherwise, the Flash and other speedsters would just be unstoppable. And at 8, Batman. I think we all knew Batman was going to be on this list, but I'm guessing most of you figured that he'd be number 1. And while I can't deny that Batman is bad, I can honestly say that I don't think he's overpowered, but he's still unstoppable. It doesn't matter if he's rich, okay? There should be no possible way that he can get whatever he needs, whenever he needs it. But like, the best ability that Batman has is his plot armor, okay? It's not his money, it's not his martial arts mastery, it's not his gadgets. He can get whatever the story needs, or whatever he needs, so he just doesn't die, just because killing him off would be a horrible idea, okay? It's like, oh, it's Superman, but there's only 1 ounce of kryptonite left in this world. Oh, don't worry, Batman can get it because he's rich. I don't like that, okay? My friend was obsessed over Batman, and I think he's overrated, and I can hear the sounds of pitchforks and torches being lighted, like, in the comments. You're also lighting your pitchforks, but like, come on, okay? Come at me. Batman isn't all that, and that's why he's at number 8. He's also at number 8 because of his plot armor. That's his ultimate power and why he's unstoppable, but still. And at 7, Martian Manhunter. The Martian Manhunter possesses highly advanced reasoning and logic capabilities and uses them to great effect. Despero once claimed that Ted Kore's mind, his IQ of 192, was only second to that of John Jones. The Martian Manhunter's particularly astute reasoning capabilities and long-term association with Earth's global population gives him an edge in dealing with humans of diverse governments, cultures, and religions. And as a result, in the northern hemisphere of Earth, the Manhunter is one of many costumed adventurers battling against entropy. Yet in the southern hemisphere, he's more well known than even Superman. In addition to this, the Martian Manhunter is the most powerful telepath on the planet and is one of the strongest telepaths telepathic beings in the universe, which some also consider to be due to his intellect, or something that adds to his intellect, since he can control the minds of others. He's able to read the mind of any human with no difficulties, and the only minds that can cause him trouble are insane minds. He can even read the subconscious mind as well. He's able to read minds over great distances and has been known to scan the mind of every human on Earth within a matter of moments. Okay, I just wish he was a therapist so that he could tell me what my subconscious wants instead of me trying to figure it out on my own, because clearly that's not working. Oh wait, no, he can't read insane minds. And at 6, Green Lantern. I've been talking about this particular run a lot recently, but Emerald Twilight from back in 1994 showcases just how unstoppable Hal Jordan can be if he wants to. The story begins with Hal holding a doll in the middle of what was once Coast City. Yeah, it exploded, or was at least destroyed. Grief-stricken, he recreates the entire city using his power ring, including its deceased inhabitants, as well as his father, which violated the Green Lantern Corps code, which forbids lanterns from using their powers for personal gain. He's then contacted by a Guardian of the Universe who reminds him of that and reprimands him for it, but Hal drains the holographic projection's energy and travels to O to use the central power battery to permanently reconstruct Coast City. The Guardians send other Green Lanterns to stop him, but Hal's determined to achieve his goal and unleashes destruction on anyone who's getting in his way. He absolutely tears through the Green Lantern Corps. As Hal's rampage continues, the consequences of his actions ripple throughout the cosmos, and Green Lanterns are vanishing and their rings are inexplicably disappearing. Even Guy Gardner, who's wearing Sinestro's yellow ring, witnesses the devastation caused by Hal's actions. Alright, this dude just wanted to rebuild a city and ends up decimating the Green Lantern Corps for it. So yeah, I'm gonna go with he's pretty unstoppable. Halfway through, and at number 5, the Atom. Ray Palmer is the Atom, the mighty might, a superhero with the ability to shrink to incredible sizes while retaining his full mass, making him insanely nuts. Ray Palmer is a hardworking, dedicated man, and in fact, dedicated is hardly a word for it. Driven is a little closer to the truth. Once Ray starts working on a problem or a puzzle, there is absolutely no stopping him. Aside from his crime-fighting career, he is also one of the world's top scientific minds, given his background as a physicist, and yeah, gay, it's freaking nuts. He's capable of shrinking to subatomic sizes and explores the universe on a frontier unknown to any other man. He also created the Atom suit that allows him to do this, having it be tech instead of a superpower as well. So yeah, it's kind of putting him on the level of like Hank Pym and Tony Stark from the Marvel universe, which are some of the smartest characters in Marvel. But the dude can turn small, have a punch that's like a bullet, like Ant-Man, but can also fly while small, instead of being stuck on the ground. So yeah, I think it's fairly safe to say that Ray holds a powerful spot in the DC universe. Or at least he's up there, okay? And at 4, Wonder Woman. The Dark Knight's death metal story wrapped up early 2021 with issue number 7, and in that issue, and the issue before, we see Wonder Woman at her most powerful yet. In a godlike form that's even more powerful than a god, as the Cosmic puts it. She has been a god before, but at this moment, she's more. At this point, she's ascended past godhood and can see all of time and all realities. Yeah, she sees every Earth timeline and every Earth. And she faces off against the Batman, who laughs in his most powerful form. The fight is so intense that they hit each other through time itself. Diana here is charged with anti-crisis energy, a concussive force that links all of history and all lives as one story. Then she moves on to become one of the hands that creates the multiverse going forward, with no walls and greater possibilities. She aids in creating the future state story that we see in the issues following, and that is seemingly the centerpiece of DC 2021 and the new world, I guess you could say. So yeah, Wonder Woman becoming a god and remaking the universe seems pretty unstoppable to me, considering how no one stopped her. And at 3, Aquaman. Oh, look at that, I managed to reference Flashpoint twice on this number. Hell yeah, or this list. Hell yeah. In the animated Flashpoint Paradox movie and the comics, the world is much different to what it originally was. Mostly due to the war between Aquaman and Wonder Woman, who end up being the villains of the movie, and it's a lot. Thanks to them being former lovers while Aquaman was married to Mera, who Wonder Woman then killed when Mera tried to get her revenge. Yeah, but considering how it's Amber Heard, I kinda get it. But to be fair, she also wears Mera's crown running around, so it's not like she's really saying, oh, it was self-defense. She's just like taunting him. However, this war resulted in the destruction of the planet at the literal moment that Barry was able to get enough speed to go back into the Speed Force, okay? It's a suspenseful moment where Reverse Flash has just been killed by Batman so that Barry would have enough speed to run back and stop himself from saving his mother. But yeah, he managed to get into the Speed Force before the world's destruction caught up with him, but the world was still destroyed. So you know what, that's good enough for me. Okay, this version of Aquaman was only stopped when the world ended. So yeah, yikes. And we thought he was only good in the water. But ultimately, into number 2, the Spectre. Spectre is the embodiment of divine vengeance and serves as a member of the enforcers of God's will. When someone is nearing death, Spectre utilizes them as a vessel to carry out the universe's purpose. In an attempt to save John Constantine, who had caused a major disruption by altering the timeline, Spectre intervened. He guided and protected Barry Allen through the Speed Force, shielding him and the new universe from Darkseid's pursuit. However, this upset the cosmic balance, and the universe sought to punish Constantine for his actions. Despite recognizing Constantine's past deeds and offering him a seemingly idyllic eternity with his loved ones in the House of Mystery, Constantine's self-loathing transformed the experience into a nightmarish existence. When Constantine confronted Spectre and explained the circumstances, the Spectre realized his inability to offer further assistance, but like, still, the Spectre has the powers of a god. He's literally just the form of God's wrath, as just a thing that can move from undead body to body. Yeah, that's gonna be unstoppable. It's freaking God's wrath as a manifestation. Damn. And finally, into number 1, Dr. Manhattan. Technically it counts. Technically he's in the DC universe. Dr. Manhattan is considered the most powerful superhero in comics because he possesses ultimate powers. He debuted in the graphic novel limited series Watchmen, published in 1986 and 1987, and Manhattan later on became a major player in the DC universe. He was revealed to be responsible for the Flashpoint event, creating the New 52 timeline in the process, something that removed 10 years of history of the DC characters, and he did it on his own. So how could we not include Dr. Manhattan on the list when just Jesus Christ. The dystopia in The Watchmen is caused by superheroes who thought that they could save the world but ended up leaving it hollow and broken, but Dr. Manhattan created Flashpoint on his own. So if we were saying that Barry is unstoppable because he was able to change reality, and that Aquaman was unstoppable because he was able to destroy reality and only got saved when Flash rewrote it, yeah, I think that Manhattan's gonna take the top spot. If you don't agree and you think it should be Batman, then yell at me in the comments. Alright, that's fine. I've accepted it.
Number 10, Miss Marvel. For this point, we're focusing on Kamala Khan's Miss Marvel, who carries on the legacy of Carol Danvers' Captain Marvel, who in turn carried on the legacy of Captain Marvel. While in the MCU, she is now tied to the mutants, in the comics, she was known for her ties to the Inhumans, initially possessing Inhuman ancestry, which is also how she got her powers. They manifested when the Terrigen Mists were released onto Earth, causing her potential to be unlocked and granting her stretching and shapeshifting abilities, which Kamala often uses in combat to defeat her enemies. Now, however, she has been made an Inhuman mutant hybrid in the comics after the events of the most recent Hellfire Gala. Kamala's connection to Carol is simply that she is a huge Captain Marvel fangirl, and as a result, when Carol took up the mantle of her mentor, Captain Marvel, Kamala was permitted to use her former superhero name of Miss Marvel. Kinda nice. And friends, before I move on to our next spot on this list, if you love what we do here at Top 10 Nerd, why not show us you love us by clicking that like button? Number 9, Jarro. Jarro is one of my favorite clones and also one of my favorite legacy heroes. He's not only a legacy character in regards to him being connected to the villainous Starro, but also due to his connection to Batman, the Bat family, and the mantle of Robin. Jarro's not a clone in the sense that he is a straight copy of another being with the same memories, but he was grown from genetic material that Batman retrieved from Starro the Conqueror. Jarro is by far one of the cutest sons that Batman has. Yep, that's right, Jarro considers Batman to be his dad since Batman raised him and trained him to be a hero. Jarro was trained like Batman's other sons and Robin's, and has been seen working as an ally to Batman and the Justice League. He is extremely loyal and would do anything for his dad and hero, Batman. Being that he was trained by Batman and is also a sort of descendant of Starro, he has the potential to be pretty unstoppable in his own right. Number 8. Doyle Dormammu. Everyone loves Doyle, which is why I was compelled to include him here on this list. Doyle, for those who are not familiar with him, first appeared in Strange Academy issue number 1, a series that I was initially excited to read as soon as it was announced, and that I still haven't actually found the time to sit down and read in full yet, sadly. That being said, from what I have seen of it, it is amazing, and I've only heard the best things about it from folks who have actually read it. Doyle is the son of Dormammu, but not through conventional means. Initially, he was just a normal human boy born to a normal human woman. However, after it was discovered that he had a brain tumor that could not be removed or cured through medical means, his mother looked for some other way, any way, to cure him, and ended up asking, get this, the Dreadlord Dormammu for help. And surprisingly, Dormammu actually agreed, giving the boy a piece of himself in order to cure him, thereby making him a sort of son of Dormammu, which is why we call him as such. As with some others on this list like Jarro, despite his connection to a more villainous legacy, Doyle is presented as a hero in training in Strange Academy. Number 7. Wonder Girl. Yara Flor was the future state Wonder Woman when Diana got a glimpse into a possible future in Dark Knight's Death Metal issue number 7. It was Yara who she saw carrying on the mantle of Wonder Woman. Yara is not an Amazon from Themyscira, instead she is an Amazon of Brazil, being from a different tribe of Amazons than Diana hails from, but still ultimately an Amazon. In the future state reality, Yara was considered to be a demigod. Yara Flor's Wonder Woman initially appeared in Dark Knight's Death Metal issue number 7. She was created by Joelle Jones and would later be incorporated into the main continuity of Prime Earth and get a short-lived comic series all her own titled Wonder Girl, which takes place prior to Yara becoming Wonder Woman. Although now what happened in Future State is considered an alternate reality, Yara Flor still is Wonder Woman in that reality and is one of the heroes to have the mantle Wonder Girl in the main continuity. Number 6. Hulkling. During the prelude of Empire, Hulkling went from being a hero and member of the Young Avengers, standing in as their very different version of the Hulk, to becoming the ruler of both the Skrull and Kree empires, bringing both together under the galactic umbrella known as the Alliance, ending a more than 100-year war by uniting these two empires. Thanks to his bravery, his sense of leadership, and of course his heritage. A much better resolution to that complex conflict than the one we got in the MCU recently. The whole reason that Hulkling was able to bring together the long warring empires of both the Skrull and the Kree to create the Alliance, other than his parentage being a Kree-Skrull hybrid born to the Skrull Princess Anel and celebrated Kree war hero Mar-Vell, was because he was needed to lead and unite both peoples against the universal threat of the Kotati, who he and his army, along with the heroes of Earth, did successfully defeat. Wasn't easy, but they did it. Number 5. Nightwing. In the ongoing Nightwing series by Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo, we follow Nightwing as he continues to be the protector of Bloodhaven. However, after Alfred's death, he's no longer struggling in the same way financially as we're used to seeing him do, having inherited a fortune from one of his adoptive father figures, Alfred. A fortune that Alfred apparently built, maintained, and seemingly sat on, I guess, for years. What does Dick Grayson do with this newfound wealth? Does he build a Batcave like his adoptive father Bruce Wayne would? Does he put all those funds into gadgets and tech? No. He chooses to use this newfound wealth to fix the actual infrastructure of the city that he has sworn to protect. I know Bruce would agree with me on this when I say even Batman could learn a thing or two from Nightwing's approach to heroics. Oh, and he's even technically already replaced Batman, both literally in the past and currently, as the Titans just recently replaced the Justice League as DC's premier superhero team in the main continuity, and Nightwing, of course, still leads the Titans. Number 4. Captain America. Bucky Barnes was once the sidekick of Captain America. In the days before Marvel and Stan Lee decided that kid sidekicks were too irresponsible and kinda silly for them to feature. After he and Cap went MIA, he much later resurfaced as the super soldier and brainwashed assassin, Winter Soldier. Steve didn't give up on him though. Even when he came back with this new villainous persona, Steve helped to free him from his brainwashing and gave Bucky back his former memories, allowing him to once more think and act for himself, and eventually Bucky would even go on to be fully redeemed, becoming himself the hero, Captain America, when Steve was believed to be dead. Number 3. The Flash. The Flash is one of the most unstoppable characters in all of comics, never mind just a legacy character, and Wally West isn't just a legacy hero carrying the mantle of the Flash following in his Uncle Barry Allen's footsteps, but he is also even faster than Barry, which makes him pretty insane when it comes to his power levels. Wally West is probably also my favorite Flash, and you know me, I love super speed and consider it to be one of the most powerful and versatile power sets that we have. So of course I have to pay my respect and give Wally West one of my top spots here on this list. While Barry Allen has made a lot of messes that he has had to use his powers to get him out of, Wally typically does not make messes, he cleans them up. Like right now in Titans, with him showing up and dying so that he and his friends can actually solve his own murder. Well, his future self showed up and died, and then his present self, I guess you would say, showed up and was like, oh, I guess we're gonna solve my murder. Great. Number 2, Nature Girl. Can we really have legacy superheroes when it comes to the X-Men where all their powers are so unique? I suppose not in a traditional sense, but in a non-traditional sense we certainly can. Really, when we talk about legacy with the X-Men, we're more talking about the next generation of superheroes. And sure, I could talk about mutant heroes who are the children of other famous X-Men members who have come before, like Legion and Talon, but I'd rather focus on someone who isn't a direct descendant, because legacy doesn't have to equate to the natural born child of. Legacy can simply be the next group coming in, and let's be honest, the next generation doesn't always agree with the one who came before. Enter Nature Girl. Nature Girl recently has been on a transformative journey that saw her turn from a sweet, empathic figure able to commune with the nature of Earth to a raging, unrelenting force hell-bent on getting revenge on those who are killing the planet. I have enjoyed this strange but compelling arc for her, and personally, I would not want to mess with Nature Girl. Mess with nature and she'll mess you up. Number 1, Superman. John Kent as Superman has to be one of the most unstoppable heroes out there when we think of someone carrying on a legacy or a mantle, especially in the modern day. I went really modern with these picks, by the way, but I guess that's because I'm reading a lot of modern comics right now, minus like Wolverine, Dazzler, and I guess Witchblade, which are all a bit more retro in terms of where I'm at with their histories in terms of like which volumes I'm reading. John recently appeared in Nightwing seeking some advice from Dick Grayson and looking to be trained. And even there, Dick had to figure out how to even approach training John because of just how unstoppable and powerful a force he is. Number 10, Dazzler. Dazzler might not rank high on most people's unstoppable lists, but I know what Alison Blair can do, and honestly, it's pretty impressive. Even though she constantly attempts to distance herself from the world of heroism, when called upon to protect the Earth, she happens to be one of the most capable and undefeatable heroes out there. She's gone up against Hulk, Enchantress, and even crossed paths with Galactus and lived to tell the tale, often defeating many of the opponents who are seemingly unstoppable themselves that she comes up against.
Number 9, Rogue. Marvel Comics' Rogue is an unstoppable force and one of the most formidable mutants, although you might not think so at first. With the ability to absorb the memories, powers, and abilities of anyone she touches, or after an enhancement, even those at range, Rogue has the potential to become a living powerhouse capable of mimicking the skills of her allies and enemies alike. This makes her an unpredictable and adaptive combatant, as she can utilize an ever-expanding arsenal of powers in battle. Some of these abilities have been momentary, and some, like the abilities of Ms. Marvel, Sunfire, and most recently Wonder Man, have stayed permanently for one reason or another. Also, thanks to an update in her powers, she can now fully control her power, meaning that she can totally take your power without taking your full life force, or if she did take your life force, it would be because she wants to make you suffer. So that's scary. Additionally though, Rogue's superhuman strength, speed, and durability grant her an advantage in physical confrontations. However, her powers come with a heavy burden, the risk of absorbing the life force of others, potentially leading to them becoming comatose, and sometimes, due to a power boost or because of a situation, their demise. This complex aspect of her abilities adds depth to the character, highlighting the emotional struggles she faces in trying to control her gift, and it makes relationships particularly difficult. Whether fighting alongside the X-Men or as a solo hero, Rogue's resilience and adaptability and the sheer potential of her power has made her someone that you just can't overlook.
Number 8, Hope Summers. What if you could be like Rogue, but instead of initially having to touch people or later on get them within a close range, you just had to be somewhere nearby them. And instead of having to train with said powers to figure them out, you were just straight up a master. And instead of having to be able to overcome your own fears to gain more control over your abilities so you didn't accidentally, drain someone of their life energy or their memories, you just never really had to worry about any of that. Well then, you'd be Hope Summers. While definitely a less complex character in terms of her powers adding an inherent depth through being limited or flawed in some way, Hope is still definitely a powerhouse. And what she lacks in power set depth, she makes up for in weird time travel story depth. Being the adopted daughter of Cable and the original mutant Messiah, one of the first mutants to be born after Scarlet Witch wiped out most of the mutants with her powers by speaking the words "no more mutants." Hope Summers is a member of Krakoa's 5 and is probably the most valuable member on that team, considering how versatile she is.
Number 7, Doctor Strange. Sorcerer Supreme Dr. Stephen Strange's magical feats are almost unmatched by any other. He is among the most adept magic user in the multiverse and has shown it many times. In fact, when he first came on the scene, and for a long while, he was capable of doing pretty much anything he wanted to with any spell. It got to the point that Marvel even decided to depower him so that he could have more compelling stories. As for some of his feats, even after being depowered, he has passed a test in which he accepted death, which meant he now no longer ages and is kind of immortal. His energy blasts are capable of destroying moons and planets. He has mastered the words of the Black Priests, allowing him to distort reality at one point. He frequently calls on the divine empowerment and extra-dimensional energy of mystical and non-mystical beings across multiple dimensions in order to power his spells, which most magic users do, but he just does it better. He is the defender of reality, and that is a title that does not come lightly. I feel like the camera's like a tiny bit higher in here, so I'm like, oh shit, it's up there.
Gotta look up.
Look up.
How do you think I feel? Number 6, Spider-Man. Spider-Man has to be one of the most unstoppable heroes around when it comes to Marvel Comics. Sure, he might not be as powerful as some of the heroes on this list when it comes to their comparative power sets, but in his own lane, Peter is pretty much just a straight up unstoppable. And he has one of the strongest willpowers of all of the heroes in the Marvel Universe that I know of. Even when it seems like he cannot win the day, he often manages to find a way to save the people he's sworn to protect, and often that he also knows and loves. He's pulled off feats of strength that seemed impossible, even for him with his extremely enhanced physiology. And in the MCU, he even managed to stand up to Doctor Strange in No Way Home, which, considering how powerful Doctor Strange is, I think is pretty impressive.
Number 5, Moondragon. Heather Douglas is actually one of the most powerful human-born telepaths in existence. She gained this power after she trained under the Shaolin monks of Titan, thanks to Thanos' father mentor taking her in. Her telepathic abilities rival and surpass even those of powerful mutants like Professor X. With this power, she was able to make an entire planet subservient to her. She has been in a psionic stalemate with the Sorcerer Supreme, and she's even straight up de-lifed a clone of Thanos who at the time had even greater mental powers than Professor X. Her powers are so powerful, in fact, that they can maintain themselves subconsciously, meaning that even if she is unconscious, she will maintain the effects of said powers. A huge part of her character, even the reason for her awesome Moondragon name, comes from the fact that she is or was actually under the influence of an extremely powerful entity known as the Dragon of the Moon, who has been manipulating her for a long time, even initially letting Heather believe she had overcome the demon. But thanks to this dragon, she has been able to take on a dragon form where she could move faster than light, survive in space, and was super strong and durable. Unfortunately, she isn't always a good guy.
Number 4, Nova. Nova is by far one of the most powerful superheroes we have in the cosmos, and yet a lot of people seem to forget about him. When it comes to which Nova we're talking about, I'm going to focus more on Richard Rider for this point, but honestly both he and Sam are pretty amazing. Richard, however, has more experience, so I think that makes him a more unstoppable force. Even when facing Annihilus, Nova could not be beaten. Nova is also one of the few to win in a fight against Thanos, getting some help from Star-Lord, who was wielding a partially charged cosmic cube, which also basically implied that Nova was as powerful himself as a partially charged cosmic cube, just all on his own. Physically, Nova didn't have to sacrifice himself in this fight, but just in terms of him basically being cut off from the rest of the cosmos for a while, he did have to do that, as he ended up being trapped in the Cancerverse alone, which honestly, surviving that is also a feat all its own.
Number 3, Legion. David Haller, the estranged son of Charles Xavier, is a very powerful mutant. He is also quite unique in the huge gallery of already unique Marvel mutants. David has hundreds and hundreds of mutant powers that each belong to a separate persona in his head. Each persona can be good or bad. For the purpose of our video though, there are several personas of David that come to mind. The first is straight up the Legion, which he describes as quote, real me, and has been called a god mutant by the mutant magic. The Legion is able to both warp reality to his will and manipulate time, which he did to create the Age of Apocalypse and eliminate the Elder Gods of Limbo. Then there is the Weaver, who is a big old brightly lit spider-like creature that has the ability to change, morph, and otherwise refabricate reality itself. But it's one of the only personas that he can neither coax into his service nor assimilate with. There is also X, or Moira, that takes the form of Moira McTaggart and was able to best Professor X in psychic battle and warp warp reality, single-handedly creating the Age of X, where David would be seen as a hero and placed herself as the mother of David. The personality Time Sync can manipulate the flow of time, pausing time, freezing people in time, and showing people memories of their own troubled past. And then there is my favorite, the Origamiist, a massive sumo wrestler who can bend and warp the fabric of space. He has been used only once so far, when Legion was in danger from an explosion, and he used the Origamist to fold the explosion away into a separate dimension and teleport away from the scene. And that is insane.
Adam, when you put Legion on this list and you picked Legion, I was like, who will I put above this person? Speaking of that, number 2, Wiccan. Wiccan is the son of Scarlet Witch. Well, the son of Scarlet Witch in spirit. If you've seen WandaVision, you likely know about Scarlet Witch's 2 twin sons. In the comics, they also exist, but like in the MCU, were only made possible because of Wanda's reality warping powers. As such, they end up being wiped away, with Wanda being made to forget that they ever existed. This is supposedly done for her own good and for everyone else's safety besides. In the comics, Scarlet Witch though later remembers her children, causing her to have a mental break, and then House of M happened. However, after all that was said and done, it was revealed that her children had returned via reincarnation. Wiccan is one of her 2 spiritual sons and has inherited his mom's magical skills and abilities. Like his mom, Wiccan uses magic to warp reality, and there are even some timelines where he ends up as the Sorcerer Supreme in the future.
And in at number 1 today is the Silver Surfer. Marvel Comics' Silver Surfer is an unstoppable cosmic force, wielding powers beyond comprehension. He is one of the most powerful beings in the universe, gifted with the power cosmic by the world-devouring Galactus. Surfer possesses a level of strength rivaled by very few that has allowed him to do things like crush diamonds and toss away dwarf stars. He has near invulnerability, and on the low chance that he does get hurt, he can heal it almost instantly. And the ability to manipulate cosmic energy at will, which grants him a whole list of other abilities and augmentations. His surfboard grants him the power of flight without expending his own energies, and allows him to travel faster than the speed of light, like he has traveled light years in a second. As the Herald of Galactus, Silver Surfer has navigated the far reaches of the universe, facing unimaginable threats and challenges. His mastery over cosmic energy allows him to project devastating energy blasts and construct force fields capable of withstanding almost any attack. On top of that, his connection to the power cosmic grants him virtually limitless cosmic knowledge and awareness. And yet, despite his immense power, Silver Surfer grapples with his conscience and carries the burden of past deeds done in service to Galactus. This inner conflict adds depth to the character, making him a complex and relatable figure in the Marvel Universe. With his cosmic abilities, unwavering sense of justice, and a desire to atone for his past, Silver Surfer remains an indomitable force in the cosmic landscape, protecting the universe from unimaginable threats. Coming in at number 10 today, it's the Sentry. With the power of a million exploding suns, Robert Reynolds, the Sentry, is not just another Marvel version of Superman. In my opinion, he is even cooler than Superman. The Golden Sentry Serum gave Robert Reynolds more than just the highest level of strength in the universe, the ability to move and fly faster than the speed of light, or just teleport, and near invulnerability. The Sentry also has molecular manipulation abilities that have allowed him to defeat the Molecule Man, photokinesis, which allows him to shine brighter than the sun itself, turn completely invisible, and produce blasts of light from his hands and eyes that could burn the Hulk's skin and level whole city blocks, psionic abilities that he uses to hold himself together, implant his memories in others, erase minds, and stop the hammer of Thor, biokinesis abilities that have let him heal others, resurrect himself, reconstitute his molecules, and as the Void, give others cancer. Speaking of the Void though, that is a whole other dark side to this hero that is intrinsically tied to his existence, which is not only incredibly powerful in its own right and makes the hero 10 times more interesting, but when Sentry combined with the Void, this godlike being somehow got a power boost, and he even became a Horseman of Apocalypse, which did the same thing. Number 9. Adam Warlock. First appearing in 1967 in Fantastic Four number 66, Adam Warlock was created by the Enclave, who were experimenting to create a perfect human specimen. This made him super strong, durable, fast, and able to store and use huge amounts of cosmic energy to make him fly, release blasts, and all kinds of things, including cocooning himself to help him heal and regenerate. As it turns out, that last one is kind of the thing that makes him unstoppable. Every time he cocoons and regenerates himself, he actually comes out more powerful than when he went in and evolves even new powers. With the name Warlock, you'd assume that he can also use magic, and you would be right. He is able to use, quote, quantum magic, which lets him teleport, make force fields, move at the speed of light, create wormholes, resurrect himself and others, have cosmic awareness, and frighteningly manipulate, remove, and judge the souls of others. He has altered the evolution of beings, he's manipulated matter, turning Thanos into stone, and then he wielded the Infinity Gauntlet, and is one of the main wielders of the Soul Stone specifically. This guy is basically Space Jesus, and one of his biggest feats is completely embarrassing the hell out of Mephisto, Marvel's most powerful demon in his own realm. At one point, he accidentally defeated the entire universe, including all cosmic entities except the one above all, who then just recreated reality with Adam Warlock as the new living tribunal. He's nuts. Number 8. Blue Marvel. A former Marine and scientist turned superhero, Adam Brashear is not only one of the strongest heavy hitters in Marvel Comics, but he is also one of the smartest characters and one of my absolute underutilized favorites. His origins take place in the 1960s during a project to use antimatter as an energy source. Adam and his best friend Connor were caught in an explosion that turned Adam into a living, stable antimatter reactor, which should, in theory, be pretty much impossible. This power is insane. To put it into perspective, 1 gram of antimatter contains the same energy as the device dropped that ended World War II. 1 droplet could power the entirety of New York City for a full day. Using this power, he was capable of effortlessly lifting the 1960 era's American warship Enterprise, which weighs over 93,000 tons, and then he just flew it all the way back to America. He effortlessly moved a meteor the size of Arkansas to save the world. The Watcher said that Adam is capable of splitting the moon in two with a blow, and he was able to directly engage Iron Man, Ares, Wonder Man, and Miss Marvel at the same time in combat, and just casually overpower them, and then he turned around and pushed the Sentry to the limits of his strength, and then knocked him into Earth's orbit with a single punch. His durability has allowed him to survive a hydrogen device going off literally in his hands, and just walking away unfazed. He may be seemingly relegated to the background of Marvel Comics, but Blue Marvel is practically unstoppable. Number 7. Thor. Thor, Odin's son, the Asgardian god of thunder, is one of the most powerful heroes that Marvel has. Whenever anyone talks about Avengers level threats, one of the key elements of that is whether Thor can just handle the situation on his own. In both the comics and the MCU, Thor and the Hulk are repeatedly given reasons to not be able to show up so that certain storylines can actually be compelling. Specifically, I'm talking about Civil War, where Thor had to deal with Ragnarok back home on Asgard, and that was all because if he was on Earth during Civil War, whoever had him on their side would just automatically win. Being the son of Odin, the Allfather, and Gaia, an elder god, Thor has all the incredible powers of the Asgardians, but boosted to a whole other level thanks to his mother. As the god of strength as well as thunder, he is one of the strongest Marvel characters, like I said, being able to either defeat or stalemate astronomically strong beings like the Midgard Serpent, the Hulk, the Silver Surfer, Gladiator, and Hercules. His stamina lets him basically fight forever, and he is next to completely invulnerable. Not to mention his weather and energy manipulation and the use of his hammer. Even when he isn't in possession of his hammer though, and is just Thor Odin's son, he is still a force to be reckoned with, and, especially recently, he keeps getting more and more boosts to his power, like when he was Rune King Thor, or now that he is Allfather Thor, which gives him the Thor Force, and he's gone beyond even that when he became the Herald of Galactus. There's more to Thor, but I think I've said enough. Number 6. Captain Marvel. Whether you love or hate Carol Danvers, there is no denying that this energy-wielding superhero is an absolute powerhouse. Carol was the head of security at NASA when she was accidentally subjected to the Psyche Magnetron machine, which imprinted her with energy from the superhero Mar-Vell's Kree Negabands, which gave her superhuman strength that allowed her to support the weight of a dead Celestial, super stamina that lets her exert herself for over 24 hours without getting tired, acquired superhuman durability to withstand planet-destroying explosions, superhuman agility and reflexes that are next to instant, and a regenerative healing factor that exceeds Wolverine's and can be extended to others. She has self-propelled flight at 3 times the speed of sound, even in the vacuum of space, and flash precognition that allows her to randomly subconsciously anticipate the moves of her opponents. But all of that is somewhat secondary to what is arguably her main power: the ability to control, absorb, and manipulate energy of a whole bunch of different kinds, which extends to let her project her spirit, manipulate molecules, transmute matter, create energy constructs, and even boost up her already OP abilities. There is literally no denying that Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, is straight up just broken. Number 5, the Hulk. It's almost a requirement that the Hulk show up on this list. The gamma-powered Green Goliath has been around for a long time, and ever since he showed up, there are only a small handful of people who have ever been able to stop him without using some kind of magic or reality warping. His infinite strength has a lot to do with that. A strength that grows based on his anger and has never ever reached a cap, allowing him to destroy entire planets, be a threat to entire galaxies, and being able to shake the entire multiverse with his punches. It also has a lot to do with his basically limitless dynamic durability, which has allowed him to survive attacks from enchanted weapons, powerful blasts of energy, stronger than ground zero nuclear explosions, the Human Torch's Nova Blast, and he could stand up to forces that could crush adamantium and destroy entire planets. But now, thanks to Immortal Hulk, we know that the Hulk actually literally cannot die, coming back from the below place through green doors. Actually, in that story we even get to see an alternate future where the One Below All uses the Hulk to destroy literally everything in existence. And the Hulk is still showing more and more of his potential with the reveal of the Titan personality that was able to fire energy blasts and is utter nightmare fuel. Number 4, Deadpool. Yes, he's an anti-hero, and no, I don't really care. With powers originating from Wolverine's genetic mutation, only stronger, Wade Wilson, aka Deadpool, is a product of the Weapon X program, making him not only pretty difficult to take down, but also pretty difficult to defend against. But through his time, he's managed to become even more capable. At one point in the comics, Deadpool becomes infatuated with Death, as in Mistress Death. This is the same Death that the Mad Titan Thanos is in love with. Now, because of this little weird love triangle and Thanos being a big grumpy jealous boy, he decides to, quote, gift old Wade with immortality, preventing him from ever being able to fully be with Death. In reality, he just vowed to return Deadpool to life no matter what it took if he ever managed to pass away. And coming from Thanos, that's pretty much the same as immortality. But even without that, Deadpool's healing factor renders him basically immortal, as he no longer ages, can live and control his body without his head attached, is highly resistant to foreign chemicals, immune to all diseases, telepathic attacks, and possessions. This guy is a master assassin and has the power of breaking the fourth wall, which, in a way, gives him almost godhood in comic books. Number 3, Ghost Rider. While the Ghost Rider is in control, Johnny Blaze only influences its decisions to an extent as he takes the, quote, back seat. Now, Doctor Strange has stated that Johnny Blaze is simply a mortal and acts as a built-in safety, limiting the power of the Ghost Rider or the Spirit of Vengeance. Doctor Strange also stated that when the Spirit of Vengeance takes possession of the Ghost Rider's powers are, for all intents and purposes, boundless and, quote, godlike. So not only is the Ghost Rider really cool, but he's quite a hardy fella. He's essentially impervious to almost all forms of normal damage, or the damage he has sustained, like having his head completely obliterated, didn't actually matter since he just instantly reformed and didn't even feel it. The Ghost Rider has tanked hits from the Hulk on multiple different occasions and was one of the main heroes called in when Hulk returned for his vengeance on the Illuminati in the World War Hulk story. Since his body becomes a flaming skeleton, most projectiles just kind of pass straight through him or bounce off of his incredibly strong bones. The only things that have been shown to actually hurt him are heaven-forged or blessed weapons. Also, because of the divine or demonic energies that empower him, he can basically feel no fatigue or pain of any kind. And if anything were to actually damage him, he can recover from his injuries pretty much instantly. But all that combined with his Hellfire, soul, and sin manipulation, demonic magic, a somewhat fallible penance stare, and other insane abilities after becoming the king of hell itself makes Ghost Rider someone who most villains and heroes fear even on their best days. Number 2. Scarlet Witch. As a natural conduit of one of the most powerful forms of dark magic, chaos magic, the Scarlet Witch, aka Wanda Maximoff, is one of the most terrifyingly powerful beings in Marvel Comics. Using her chaos magic, Wanda has the very powerful ability to alter reality, which she has used to create her own children, bring the Avengers to their knees, even completely ending a few of them, and even rewrite all of reality to make mutants the dominant species for a while before wiping a ton of them out. When she was born, Wanda had a natural affinity for magic. This was boosted up by the gift, or curse I guess, of chaos magic given to her by the elder god Chthon. And this was then boosted up again by the experiments of the High Evolutionary at Wundagore Mountain, which gave her an even deeper connection to magic. She can channel energy from other dimensions and from entities like Chthon, Sidorak, and Morrigan, and is considered to be the nexus being of the universe. Most magic users could make this list, but few of them can do what the Scarlet Witch can do. Number 1. Jean Grey. There's a reason that Jean Grey was chosen as the favorite host of one of the most powerful cosmic entities in the entire Marvel multiverse. As an Omega level mutant with not only telepathy but telekinesis as well, Jean Grey is one of the most powerful mutants alive. She is the most notable, powerful, and skilled telepath in the entire Marvel universe with seemingly limitless potential. Her telekinesis allows her to manipulate matter and energy, creating impenetrable force fields and moving objects with her thoughts. This combination of telepathy and telekinesis grants her incredible versatility in combat and problem solving. Jean's unparalleled strength lies not only in her powers but also in her fierce determination and unwavering sense of justice. Her ability to tap into her full potential, stay level-headed under pressure, and make split-second decisions makes her virtually unstoppable. But then, she actually is unstoppable, proven by the fact that even without the Phoenix Force, she has been able to bring herself back to life through her abilities and her sheer force of will. Despite facing countless adversaries and moral dilemmas, Jean Grey's indomitable spirit and strength of character have solidified her position as one of the most powerful and iconic figures in not only the X-Men mythology, but in Marvel Comics in general.
At number 10 is Dr. Manhattan, one of the most mind-bending superheroes ever conceived. His abilities are so off the charts that they would make your head spin faster than a centrifuge. We're talking about powers that could rewrite the laws of physics during a lunch break, and if not, casually undermine them. His powers seem to be only limited by the imagination, as the Doctor himself is essentially a cosmic consciousness, with the physical form we interact with actually just a construction. His powers are nothing short of absurd, like imagine having your atoms scattered like breadcrumbs, or being teleported away before you've had your say, both of which are things Rorschach can relate to. That joke was a very poor taste, I'm sorry guys. But perhaps his most fascinating ability is that which allows him to see through the veil of time and space. Now for those of you who are wondering how that's possible, go read the comic. The Watchmen illustrates how he perceives time not as linear like you or I perceive it, but as parallel, witnessing all events of his life unfolding at the same time. The only thing he couldn't see was the stuff that Ozymandias was up to, because that dude was literally making the deliberate effort to obscure it from Manhattan's perception. If you're enjoying this video so far, you can support the channel by pressing like, subscribing to Top 10 Nerd, and ringing the notification bell. Adam and I really appreciate it.
Number 9. Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock is one of the most powerful cosmic characters, maybe not just in Marvel Comics. He was the keeper of the Soul Gem, and beyond the powers that come with that, which included him to pass back and forth into the Soul World, he is immortal, able to regenerate himself and gain new powers using a cocoon, and he can manipulate matter and energy on a cosmic scale. Warlock was created by a group of researchers who called themselves the Enclave. Their goal was to create the perfect human being, the pinnacle of future human evolution. The creature they had created emerged and immediately sensed that something was not quite poppin' with his creators. They wanted to use him for evil. So he escaped and became Space Jesus in the Marvel Universe, and there is no other appropriate title for him. He has destroyed and rebuilt reality, is the avatar of life, and has even become the living tribunal, otherwise known as the judge of the universe.
At number 8 is adult Franklin Richards. As the son of Reed Richards and Suzanne Storm of the Fantastic Four, Franklin Richards was already already one of the most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe, even as a child, on account of his superbly powerful reality warping abilities. So one could only imagine the strength possessed by a version of Franklin who's honed his skills with years of practice. On second thought, you don't have to imagine, because Marvel provides us with a few examples of his powers which seemingly have no upper limit. He can, for example, repair a dying star, he's invented a box that Black Bolt can speak safely inside of, fought multiple Celestials at once while easily surviving their most powerful attacks, and even defeats one of these Celestials with a single punch. And how could we forget, he revives a defeated Galactus, making Galactus his herald. It's even said that a child version of Franklin Richards has been manipulating the time stream for years and is the very reason nobody ages or stays unalive, because Franklin himself refuses to grow up. Can we please get an Elseworlds or What If where someone puts a stop to this, leading to a superhero world that doesn't rely on the status quo, resulting in, I don't know, defeated heroes who actually age and bad guys who sometimes win? If only.
Number 7. Swamp Thing. Alec Holland was a chemist and botanist who spent most of his efforts creating a chemical formula that could increase the growth speed of plants, and even let plants grow in abnormal places. That sounds lovely, but unfortunately for Alec, the lab he was working in was sabotaged and he passed away in the ensuing explosion and fire while running out into the swamp where his lab resided. Since his body was covered in the formula he created, his consciousness was absorbed by the plant life of the swamp. In a new human-like plant body, Alec rose as Swamp Thing. Alec was now an earth elemental and avatar of the green, essentially a god of plants, with unimaginable levels of superhuman strength, durability, and inability to feel pain. He also had regeneration from plant life, he could move at the speed of light somehow, alter his size drastically, shapeshifting to allow himself other abilities like flight, duplication, chlorokinesis, or control over plants, which allows him to teleport through plant life as well. And thanks to his connection to the green, he can even move through time and possesses cosmic awareness. He's taken control of all the algae on Earth to remove most of the Earth's oxygen in just a show of strength. He's taken hits from an even restrained Superman and knocked the wind out of Wonder Woman. Swamp Thing is one of the more interesting heroes that DC has, and he deserves way more respect on his name.
At number 6 is Martian Manhunter. Martian Manhunter often flies under the radar when discussing formidable superheroes, overshadowed by flashier counterparts. That pun was not intended. Surely telepathy and shapeshifting are his go-tos, but his true might is worth a double take. I mean, think about it. Phasing through matter, Martian vision, density alteration, these aren't just parlor tricks. And who could forget the version of himself who defeated Darkseid and then went on to merge with the planet of freaking Mars? Mars? Like what?
Number 5. Superman Prime 1 million. The Kal-El who lived in the 853rd century survived as long as he did by literally becoming the living extension of the sun. He left the Earth somewhere in the late 21st century when everyone he cared about had already passed on, and he traversed the entire DC multiverse, going beyond time and space, and has been said to have reached as far as heaven and hell themselves. He was created by Grant Morrison and Val Semix and first appeared in DC 1 million number 4 in 1998. Now, this version of Superman has pretty much all the same general powers of his normal day self, only Superman Prime remained in Earth's sun for 15,000 years, increasing his abilities to immeasurable levels. He is known to dwarf the might of even the massively powerful Kal Kent, who is himself more powerful than the gravitational pull of a collapsing star, and is multiple times faster than the speed of light. But he is kinda just Superman who can do a hell of a lot more by just strengthening the heck out of it.
At number 4, the unbeatable Squirrel Girl. Doreen Green, aka Squirrel Girl, might not boast a jaw-dropping array of powers at first glance. Think increased speed, agility, strength proportionate to that of a squirrel, and a snazzy bushy tail. But here's the kicker, it's not about what she's got, but how she swings it. It sounded a lot worse than it needed to be. For Squirrel Girl's finesse in employing these abilities has turned her into a legitimately unstoppable force to be reckoned with. Marvel's entire rogues gallery, from the oddly shaped MODOK to the gargantuan Fin Fan Foom, to the cosmic Big Shot Gactus, to the infamous and all-powerful Thanos, all have found themselves on the losing side when facing Squirrel Girl. It's gotten to the point where now there's this running gag that Squirrel Girl just casually defeats top-tier villains off-panel emotional. Yet beneath the humor lies a seriously cool power package, solidifying Squirrel Girl as Marvel's premier superhero.
Number 3. Blue Marvel. A former Marine and scientist turned superhero, Adam Brashear is not only one of the strongest heavy hitters in Marvel Comics, but he's also one of the smartest characters and one of my absolute underutilized favorites. His origins take place in the 1960s during a project to use antimatter as an energy source. Adam and his best friend Connor were caught in an explosion that turned Adam into a living, stable antimatter reactor, which should in theory be pretty much impossible. This power is insane. To put it into perspective, 1 gram of antimatter contains the same energy as the device dropped that ended World War II. 1 droplet could power the entirety of New York City for a full day. Using this power, he was capable of effortlessly lifting the 1960s era American warship Enterprise, which weighs over 93,000 tons, and then he just flew it all the way back to America. He effortlessly moved a meteor the size of Arkansas to save the world, and the Watchers said that Adam is capable of splitting the moon in half with a single blow. He was able to directly engage Iron Man, Ares, Wonder Man, and Miss Marvel in combat at the same time and casually overpower them, and then he turned around and pushed the Sentry to the limits of his strength and knocked him into Earth's orbit with a single punch. His durability has allowed him to survive a hydrogen device going off literally in his hands and walking away unfazed. He may be seemingly relegated to the background of Marvel Comics, but Blue Marvel is practically unstoppable.
At number 2, Scarlet Witch. We all know how easy it would be for Wanda Maximoff to take over the planet. I mean, we recently saw her turn an entire town into her own personal soap opera. But the conquest of a single town pales in comparison to when she rewrote history during the House of M event, granting everyone in this new reality everything they've ever wanted, whilst erasing their memories of their previous reality. In this idealist world, Spider-Man is married to Gwen Stacy, Cyclops and Emma Frost are married, Doctor Strange is a successful psychologist, Carol Danvers, who's usually known as Miss Marvel, is now Captain Marvel, America's Patriot, as Steve Rogers was never frozen in ice and thus was now an aged veteran. It's later revealed that Magneto used his daughter to give everyone what they wanted in that reality so that he could have what he desired most: global domination and a world where mutants dominate over the common man.
Number 1. The Silver Surfer. The Silver Surfer is one of the most powerful beings in the universe, gifted with the power cosmic by the world-devouring Galactus. Surfer possesses a level of strength rivaled by very few that has allowed him to do things like crush diamonds and toss away dwarf stars. Those two things seem really different. He has near invulnerability, and on the low chance that he does even get hurt, he can heal it almost instantly, and he also has the ability to manipulate cosmic energy at will, which grants him a whole list of other abilities and augmentations. His surfboard grants him the power of flight without expending his own energies, because he can fly on his own, and it allows him to travel faster than the speed of light. Like, he has traveled light years in 1 second. As the Herald of Galactus, Silver Surfer has navigated the far reaches of the universe, facing unimaginable threats and challenges. His mastery over cosmic energy allows him to project devastating energy blasts and construct force fields capable of withstanding almost any attack. On top of that, his connection to the power cosmic grants him virtually limitless cosmic knowledge and awareness. And yet, despite his immense power, Silver Surfer grapples with his conscience and carries the burden of past deeds done in service to Galactus. This inner conflict adds depth to the character, making him a complex and relatable figure in the Marvel Universe. With his cosmic abilities, unwavering sense of justice, and a desire to atone for his past, Silver Surfer remains an indomitable force in the cosmic landscape, protecting the universe from unimaginable threats.